Never had a roster.
Actually, I'm a very demisexual person. Like in my personal life, for the last few years, I've been through so much shit with guys. I'll be honest. This is just honesty. Make the funny noises.
What is
demisexual? Is like I used to need like a strong connection, so I could say
used
that.
To? Mm-hmm. So now you don't.
Used to.
Now it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. So now it's like work related. So like I said, I was a nurse for 13 years. I was a neonatal ICU nurse. I was the good girl that you guys love up until 35.
Nurses are red flags, to be honest.
Okay, that's fine. That's a red flag for you. It's a projection. But I was a nurse.
It's okay.
What is it, like studied red flag?
Were you a travel nurse?
Nope. I was a neonatal ICU nurse. I took care of sick and dying children.
Just you were an
never
RN.
traveled.
RN?
RN? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, red flag.
Okay, that's your red flag.
Red flag.
That's not
huge red flag.
For you. Is that for society? Is that like studied? Is that like what?
A lot of dudes.
A lot of dudes? Who are these lot of dudes?
A lot of dudes.
A lot of dudes on your show? Or just like, is it studied? In general. Okay, cool.
In general.
Projection.
Trust.
Okay.
There's a lot of nurses out there. We've all had our experiences.
I think nurses are great and we need them in society, so I think we should stop saying stuff like that, because there's going to be a shortage of nurses soon for people like you that say that and say that nurses are red flags.
You think there's going to be a shortage of nurses?
Yes, there absolutely is going to be a shortage, because we get treated like shit. No, we get treated like shit in the workplace. We don't make enough money, because if I made enough money, I would be a porn star on the internet.
Nurses make pretty good money.
No, we don't.
Yeah, they do.
Let's go. Let's have this debate right now.
Can I ask something?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
You said that you wouldn't make money. You wouldn't be doing porn work if
I wouldn't. If I made more money as a nurse, absolutely not. Never.
How much were you making?
So I live in New York City. I live in Brooklyn. As a single woman, I was a nurse for 13 years. Mm-hmm. I started my career at $80,000 a year. So after 2 full weeks of working, the most intensive job, handing people their dead babies. I had a very stressful job, and I love to say this, and I love to say what nursing's really like sometimes. So I would come home, my paycheck would be like $800-900 after taxes in New York City. So after 2 weeks of full work, stressed out, 16-hour days, dealing with the most stressful job, I was at a breaking point. I was 13 years in. I would have had to work another 33 years as a nurse. And I feel like it needs to change in society, and we need to just be serious about it and have conversations about it, because I wouldn't choose what I'm doing now. I wouldn't.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did actually have a study for nurses. I thought you might find it interesting. So it is true that nurses do not have more sexual contacts than women not working in their profession. Point for you, right? Mm-hmm. But more often betray their partners, up to 25% more often. Yep. And probably more than other women, they have far more oral sex, 70% to 50%, anal sex, 31% to 18%. They're far more promiscuous across the board.
Okay, that's if it's a fact, it's a fact. What I'm saying is, let me go back to what I was saying as a nurse and why I made this decision to do what I do now. Yeah. So
you can go back to what you were saying. I just wanted to
thank you for that little clip.
You had asked if there was a study of any kind, and yes, this actually, though the research is.
But that's not a red flag. Right? That's just a study. Is that a red flag?
Infidelity is definitely greater likelihood.
Yeah, infidelity.
Oh, but you didn't say infidelity. You just said we're more likely to have anal sex, oral sex, this and that.
No, he mentioned.
Okay, just say infidelity.
Infidelity. 25% more likely to step out on the partner. I would say
like Grey's Anatomy.
I've actually never cheated on somebody, and I'm a nurse. In my life.
In general.
Yeah, but
in general, my life, I've never cheated on somebody actually. And I'm a nurse.
we understand so you may not have. We're just looking at why nurses would be a red flag or not.
Okay, I get that. It's studied. I get it, because everyone's.
I'm not making a judgment on nurses in terms of their profession.
I'm going to come from
Grid One Motorsports donated $100. This panel is kinda scuffed B. One must ask at this point, what mind and mood altering substances are these folks on? Guessing it is a long list. Crazy / hot matrix in full effect.
Cool.
Okay, anyway, let's get back to our conversation.
We were talking about
important.
Actually, I'm not really that interested in
nurses and red flags. No,
just in the explanation of here's how much.
You don't want to hear. I think
blah,
people
blah,
should
blah.
want to hear about why I decided to fuck on the internet instead of actually taking care of dying and sick children and being a great something in society, which men would consider me a high value woman.
Well, I mean, when you put it that way.
Okay. Yes. Let's go, because
the
you wanted the interesting people on this podcast.
$100. Nurses are completely full of themselves. You do not have the hardest job in the world. The Lance Corporal getting shot at has the hardest job in the world. You're not a victim, you're a thought.
So nurses are thoughts?
No, he's saying you're. I think.
So I'm asking a
that's
question.
you-
Nurses are thoughts?
You apostrophe RE. I don't think he's
So
making.
I'm a thought. Okay, I'm a thought now. But let me go back a few years ago when I was a nurse in an ICU. I didn't say I had the hard. I have
Cook.
one of the hardest jobs.
Cook.
It's actually in the Guinness Book of World Records. You could look it up. Nursing school is very challenging. I'm a very educated person.
Nursing's the hardest job.
It's one of the hardest. It's very hard.
Wait, can we, Nick? Can you pull up
Yeah,
those?
I will
wait,
look
hold on,
this up,
Nick. Pull
did
up.
you say
Nursing
according
school.
to the-
Nursing
Pull up those
school.
videos on the fucking boat. Pull up those boat videos. Wait, there's.
I love how we can't answer my question about why I became a OnlyFans,
We'll,
like
we'll get
money
to it.
and talking about
Nursing's
it all.
the hardest job.
It's one
what
of
about
these.
like underwater? What's it?
So would you be able to hand somebody their dying children? You think that's hard or not? Emotionally, mentally, physically, educationally? How do you think that's not hard? You be able to do it? It's like
probably
so easy?
difficult. Yeah, it's
Okay,
probably,
it's difficult. It's a hard job.
Yeah. Probably
hard
that's
job.
another. Probably all the trauma that you see working that sort of job
Yes.
probably extends into the relationships that you have with men.
It
which,
does, and we can
which
talk
actually
about
you're
it.
arguing for my point for why women who are nurses can be a red flag
So why
because they're
can't a man-
dealing with a lot of trauma in the workplace,
Okay.
and that's going to have an impact in the
So
relationship.
there should be therapy for nurses.
You can get that on your own time, but
Okay,
it's not clear
you
to
think
me.
my
it's
insurance
not
paid for
clear
that?
to-
The insomnia. I actually tried to get a sleep study. They put me on Ambien. They a lot of stuff. Let's talk
Exhibit
about
A.
it.
Exhibit A.
Oh, I'm a red flag, right? I'm a red flag.
I mean, by your own self-admission, you're saying because of my work.
No, I'm passionate about what I do.
Because
and
of my
sticking up
work,
for nurses.
here are all the negative consequences that I've encountered in
a
my
lot of
personal
negative
life.
consequences. Being
And
a
a
nurse.
lot of men don't want to date women with that sort of baggage.
So why would anyone want to be a nurse? Should we change this
I'm not
in
saying it's a
society and have
bad
different
job, but,
conversations?
like-
Not call nurses red flags. It's very triggering to somebody like me where I wanted to actually take care of people. I wanted to do better in life, and I wanted to be this person that I wanted to work and make a difference. And I get hit with that with my ex-boyfriend. One of my boyfriends left me because I would come home and I would cry and I would take my job home. And I know you're stressed out or you're like irritated
This is
by
No,
this.
so
You
I'm-
look
weird, though.
irritated.
How can you say?
Hold on, wait.
Like
Just
okay, go.
wait.
Okay.
Just let her finish. So you would have a tough day at
Very
work,
tough day at
and
work.
you'd go home to your boyfriend, and you'd what?
He'd say,
Cry?
I don't want to hear about your job and your day at work because I don't want to take your. And I understand that as a person now that's older.
How is that not a red
But I was
flag?
in my early 20s.
How is that not a undesirable
Okay, it's undesirable.
scenario
Yes.
with a partner?
Yes, but I understand that because I wouldn't want to deal with that either. Sometimes someone coming home
But
and
why?
projecting
Then
their
why
job.
do you object to me
But
saying you have firsthand
was
experience
in
on this?
my
Why do you
20s.
object? Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Why do you object to me saying it's a red flag when you yourself have
You said
firsthand
nurses
experience?
are red flags, but not all nurses come home and do that.
Well, why risk it?
What do you mean? Why risk what?
Well, I mean, look, he
Coming home and
cited
talking to my
the
boyfriend about my
infidelity.
job?
He cited the infidelity study.
Okay.
Nursing
Yeah.
in general, in my understanding, is a stressful job.
Very stressful.
A lot of people bring their stress in their workplace back to their home life, back to their relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So good for you. You're making more money than somebody who perhaps has a
But would you
little
rather
simpler
date
job.
me as a nurse? Or would you rather date me as an
I would-
OnlyFans girl because I left because of the stress? Am I more desirable now or as a nurse? Answer that question.
Oh, the OF
As a
is-
nurse,
Wait, what? What do you mean?
you would be more desirable as a nurse to date
Why?
than as an
It's
only.
a
the
red
OF,
flag.
The OF is worse.
Yeah,
Okay, the
but
OF is worse. You'd rather date me as a nurse. So I should have stayed as a nurse to find a man, right? Maybe
well,
I'd be married.
Well, do you?
Hang on,
do
I'm
you-
trying to answer your question,
Okay.
right? So here, let me answer your question.
Okay.
Yes, it would be more desirable to date a nurse over an OnlyFans girl, but that does not negate the fact that there would still be red flags associated with nurses. Why would these things exclude each other?
Mm-hmm. You don't
so
think doctors
to be
are red
charitable,
flags then?
hang on, to be charitable to you,
I
you
can
are
answer that.
right.
Okay.
I did confirm what you said, which it is true that a nursing degree is one of the hardest ranked degrees to get. So to be maximum charitable to you, you were correct about that, but that does not negate whether or not for dating that would be a red flag or not.
Okay. Would you go on a date with a nurse?
Yeah, I've dated nurses. And I have firsthand experience
Okay.
having dated nurses. Also, when it comes to specifically, I know there's obviously nurses who are kind of geographically locked. They don't have plans to move. But travel nurses, for example, I mean, if they've had 20 previous assignments, they've been in a place for 3 months. In my head, and I see you on a dating app, I'm thinking like that's some flight attendant shit. In each new city, you fucked a bunch of other dudes. And that's another conversation when it comes to body count. But a travel nurse, if she's on a dating app, she was on a dating app in each one of those cities, and she's looking for a short-term thing. That means her body count is ramped up. That's assuming she gets with just one guy in that city. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be a dozen.
Okay.
So travel nurse is a major...
So is that a study? Travel nurses are more promiscuous?
Well,
And they
simply by virtue...
have more sex with more guys in different cities?
I don't think there's a study,
That's
but...
just your, like,
Well, hold
take
on,
on
let me...
it.
I'll answer...
Well,
let me answer the
yes.
question.
The answer is yes.
Well, let me
answer
answer.
is yes.
Let me just answer. So,
It's studied though? I
Okay.
just want to know.
well, simply by virtue, if you move to a new geographical region every 3 months versus someone who's locked in one location, who's more likely to end up in a long-term relationship?
Somebody that's not traveling.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not, look, you could be a travel nurse and be a virgin, but just by virtue of you constantly moving, you're probably not going to be able to lock down. If you're going from New
I don't
York
think
and
a
I'm
woman
moving
that's
over
travel
here,
nursing, like if I took a travel nurse job, I don't think I'd be looking for a relationship because I don't know
so you'd just be fucking.
I wouldn't say I'd be fucking. I'd be working. You know, we work a lot. So my days off.
Did you
when
go
I
to
was
bars
a nurse,
and clubs?
No, I'm
You don't?
almost 40 years old. I
Did
don't
you ever
go to
go
clubs.
to-
When I was like in my early 20s, I
Okay.
don't care. I hate clubs.
Have you been on dating apps?
Nope.
Okay. What's your body count?
I don't actually have a little book in my house where I write it down and I'm like, today I had sex
Okay.
with this person and it's my body count. I don't know. But I can say that before I'm doing what I'm doing right now, I probably could have counted in the last 3 or 4 years, even being on OnlyFans, how many people I've had sex with on one hand.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And I've been monogamous on OnlyFans as well. Laugh at me.
Can
Well,
I
I'm not.
just?
I'm not actually laughing
No,
at you.
you
I
weren't.
just
This
wanted
guy
to-
behind me was.
I wanted to engage with you a little bit on this.
She called you out there.
So I don't
Brian-
know. It was
Brian
so
is
funny.
correct.
I'm being honest. Like I'm not lying. I'm here to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, good. That's why
Oops.
I want to engage on this with you if you don't
Yeah.
mind. So
No, I absolutely
uh,
want to talk about it. Yeah. I want to talk about
Yeah, so-
nurses. I want to
so-
change the stigma and everything.
Yeah, so Brian is saying that just by nature of somebody who's in a travel capacity of any kind, whether it's male or female, and there are studies which back this up, but I'm not even sure that you would need them because it kind of just goes to logic that if you're traveling around, opportunities come up far more than if you are based
don't
in a
think so.
home and go to a single area
No.
for work.
Nope.
There's almost... but you just agreed that logically
Nurses work
earlier
3
when
to
you
4 days a
hang on,
week.
stop.
Okay.
You literally just agreed not more than 5 minutes ago with Brian that it stands to reason that somebody who traveled would have more opportunity for these things than not, and now you're changing your
I
answer.
changed my mind actually, the way it makes sense, because when I was a nurse, I worked 3 to 4 days a week, and those days that I was off, it doesn't matter if I'm in a different city or in my city, and if I want to go out and party and hang out and like meet guys, it doesn't matter if I'm in a different city or in my city. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but if you're a person who travels, if you're a traveling nurse or traveling salesman, it wouldn't
Okay.
matter. You're going to be introduced to a much wider array for people. Therefore, there's more opportunity for intermingling. That's the point.
Have you ever fucked in the hospital?
Never, ever. I actually took a code of ethics as a nurse, and we weren't allowed to do specific things, and it was very serious. Laugh about it, but I couldn't dress up as a nurse for Halloween. There's different things. You take a code of ethics, and you have to actually respect your job in a specific way. I didn't take nude photos when I was a nurse. I was still on OnlyFans, but I just sold specific type of content until I left my job, and I respected my profession, and I always will.